warning was just issued within the last 30 seconds. It goes until 7 o'clock tonight. This is for Osage and southeastern Cole counties. It is for the threat of a tornado. Radar indicated at this time. We have not had any reports of anything on the ground at this point, but we've also had reports of up to golf ball size hail as this storm pushes its way out of Wardsville. That's where we saw most of those hail reports within the last 5 to 10 minutes. I want to let you know, if you're in this red box, this red flashing area, that's the tornado warning. If you're in this box, you are in the warning and need to seek shelter right now. If you do not have a basement, that would mean any room on the interior of your home on the first floor away from windows. So a good location would be an interior closet or a bathroom. You want to make sure you're away from windows as this storm pushes its way in. Again, this is a tornado warning for portions of eastern Cole and much of central Osage County. We'll put a track on this. This cell has been rapidly moving to the east and at around 40 miles per hour. So I'll put it right where the rotation would be. Might have to zoom out just a little bit to pick up the accurate speed of this as it tracks on to the east. I'm going to clear this off and do that again just so you have a better idea of how quickly this storm is rushing just off to the south of the Missouri River. That's where this storm has been tracking for the last hour or so. Likely going to be arriving in Lynn by around 6:31. Also Westphalia, this is approaching right now. So if you are hearing this, get into your shelter at this time. Where you're seeing this little notch here just to the west of Westphalia, that's where we're seeing the rotation. So we'll go ahead and take a look at our velocity now. Where we have this red and green meeting, that's where the rotation is at this time. So again, this is a tornado that is radar indicated. So we're not seeing anything that is on the ground at this time. We've been monitoring this. We've been watching this rotation for at least the last 20 minutes or so as it has started to strengthen here. So that rotation now right over Westphalia. It's approaching Lynn within the next 10 minutes or so. If you're in Taos, you're in the warning, but it looks like the rotation is just off to the south of you. As far as highways go, if you are along Highway 50 there, likely going to be impacted, and Loose Creek there, you're also in the warning. The rotation is going to be sliding just off to the south of you. This is going to be heading through areas along Highway 63 as well. Freeburg, not in the warning, but this is going to be sliding just north of you as well as this continues to track on to the east. So to back out, just to show you, we have at least some broad rotation here that is off to the west of Lynn, a tornado warning that's in effect for portions of very far eastern Cole County and central Osage counties until 7 o'clock. We're monitoring the reports on this storm. It's also had a history of producing some very large hail, up to at least golf ball size. It looks like the hail size has started to decrease, which is somewhat typical of these storms that take on more of the tornadic threat. So hail size still there, but it's decreased quite a bit from what we were seeing earlier. I want to take a look at that right now. We are seeing up to at least possibly penny size hail. I would give it at least quarter size in Taos and Westphalia. You'll see this red area. That's where we have the rotation at this point. So we'll take a look at that here now. I'll clear this off. We'll take a look at where we're seeing that best area of rotation, at least up to 70 mile per hour winds too, as this storm works its way onto the east. Now tonight, I also have ABC 17 Storm Track meteorologist Chance Gotch here working with me, and I want to go to him because he's been keeping an eye on some of the storm reports that we've been getting in, the hail pictures, and what are you seeing on this tornado warning? Any new information?
Yeah, Jessica, right now I've been looking at the National Weather Service chat. So far, we don't have any reports. Like you said, this is going to be radar-indicated rotation that we've been tracking. Kind of been coming through mid-Missouri the last 20 or 30 minutes for that rotation across much of the area. It's currently making its way back off to the west towards Westphalia. So next up after that, we're going to be watching it approaching back towards Lynn. But currently, right now, we're not really seeing too much in terms of kind of eyes on the ground. This is currently radar indicated, but they're still saying that this storm can still produce hail up to 2 inches in diameter. So if you're going to be anywhere impacted by this tornado warning, definitely going to want to make sure you're indoors. And on top of that, the hail is going to be dangerous in itself.
Yeah, so again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect until 7 o'clock. It's for central Osage County, and it's now moving out of Cole County. So if you're in Cole, the area of rotation has started to move out. So I'm less concerned if you're in Jefferson City or in Wardsville, but I'm very concerned if you are in Westphalia at this point. In Lynn, you still have a little bit of extra time. I want to go back over to our St. Louis radar. This is going to show you the reflectivity or just the amount of rain and quite a bit of lightning that is in this cell right right now. I've had this turned off for most of the afternoon just because it has so much lightning that it's cluttering up the storm. But I want to show you how powerful that is. And we'll continue to track the area of rotation. What I'm most concerned about here is we're seeing this little inflow area. So this is where the storm is pulling in some warm and moist, unstable air, allowing it to continue to grow. Usually that's where we see the strongest rotation. So I want to go back over to the velocity, the wind speeds here. The area of rotation is where you're seeing the red and green meeting. Green means the winds are flowing towards the radar, red away from the radar. So we get that rotational couplet there. That is just off to the west of Lynn. We have a lot of these smaller roads here. I want to keep a closer eye on that. So this is likely just south of Highway 50. I kind of want to back out just to show you where Highway 50 is. It's just up along the radar. The radar indicated rotation is right along or just south of Highway 50, just off to the southeast of Taos. Westphalia, this is likely moving over right now, crossing, it looks like Highway 63 there, that main highway that continues to pull south into Osage and Marys County. The area of rotation continues to track onto the east towards Lynn, and you're next up in line, at least the most larger population that is next in line for this radar indicated rotation. So I want to back out just a little bit. We'll get a new track there for central Osage County. We'll put it right along where that rotation is, and we're going to back out just a little bit so I can give you a better picture of the forward speed here. So it's still giving us a track of about 12 minutes to Lynn. Likely want to be in your safe place within the next 5, just so you have a little extra time before the storm hits. Again, as Chance mentioned, we have not had any reports of any tornado on the ground, but we've had reports of some large hail, up to egg size as possible in this cell. We've had confirmed reports of golf ball size hail as this storm moved through central Cole County. So at this point, we are only seeing threats for Osage County. Cole County in the clear from the tornado warning. National Weather Service has cleared that area. I want to take a look at the camera here in Jefferson City. It might give us a better look. We might be able to see just how dark the clouds are. This is looking east from the capital. Rain still certainly coming down. It is still 70 degrees after that storm has passed through. So we have a very potent environment for storms to keep going this afternoon. So we'll go back out to the radar here. I'll clear this off and we'll take a look at this cell again. It looks like the rotation is starting to at least move on to the east. It doesn't look like it's either de-escalated or intensified just yet, so that's some good news, but we still at least have some strong winds. I can show you how strong the winds are, at least on portions of the storm, possibly up to 80 to 85 miles per hour. That's what our radar is indicating. So this is actually a little bit above where the radar beam is, or the location of the storm is below where the radar beam is, so it might not be getting these strong winds all the way to the ground, but certainly something we're keeping a very close eye on because these storms quickly will have the potential of becoming severe tonight. So Westphalia, you are still in this tornado warning until 7 o'clock. The area of rotation continues to press on to the east there. And then for Lynn, the storm is about at least 5 to 10 minutes away. Still want to be in your safe place once this passes, just because we'll have the threat of some large hail and quite a bit of lightning. So again, this is a tornado warning. It's in effect until 7 o'clock for central Osage County. I'm hearing the computer beeping, Chance. Are we getting any new information?
Currently, it looks like they're downgrading the size of the hail, kind of
Okay.
like you mentioned a little bit earlier, Jessica, down to 1 inch for that storm that's traveling back off to the east in Osage County right now. So currently seeing a little bit of a less rotation on that is what they're saying, but still going to continue that warning in effect till 7 p.m.
Okay. And it looks like this is still moving through fairly quickly. I just saw they kind of trimmed up the warning. So that's good news. If you are on the western side of this, the threat is ending. I would not say it's ending for the entire night because we are likely still going to see more storms developing this evening. But we are looking at least the threat from this storm diminishing. If you are west of Westphalia and in Jefferson City, Wardsville, things are fairly quiet now for you. But let's go back out to our radar, and I want to take a look at this cell as it continues to press east. We'll go back out to the radar, and you can really see the shape of this storm. It is a strong one with a strong updraft, indicating we have that potential for hail. And of course, the rotation here, it's just off to, it looks like the east now of Westphalia, really getting closer to Lynn. I want to look at some of these highways here that are going to be impacted by the rotation. Highway Double D is just off to the south of that inflow. And then if you are anywhere near Highway 50, this is going to be impacting that corridor very soon, likely within the next 3 to 5 minutes. Lynn, you definitely want to be in your safe place. And for most of us, that means anywhere on the interior of your home, away from windows, or underground. So this kind of gives an idea of where you should be on the safe place. So lowest level of your house, away from windows. Bathroom or an interior closet is great. Just put as many walls as you can between yourself and the outside. And always a good idea to have, if you can, a little bit of extra time. If you don't have the time, just get there, stay safe, grab a pillow, put it over your head. Bike helmet is a great option, or if you have a hockey helmet, if you're a little bit ahead of the storms, if you're watching this without a warning, it's a good idea to have all these things in place before the storms hit. And another good idea is to have tennis shoes or some sort of sturdy shoes in case a storm were to hit your home and you had to walk back outside and there was any sort of damage. Always a good idea to have comfortable and safe shoes to come out after the storm. So let's go back out to our radar and we'll take a look at this now. Still looks like we have rotation that is going to be pretty healthy, moving towards Lynn. So if you're not in your safe place yet, please get there now as this storm is continuing to very quickly approach Lynn at this point. Let's go back out to the radar indicated rotation. I want to take a look at that just because this storm has really not let up too much. And you can see where that rotation is. That's bright green, right where that red is meeting, just off to the east or the west of Lynn. That's going to be pressing east in towards Lynn very soon. And it'll continue tracking along other communities that are going to be along Highway 50, just south of the Missouri River. So I want to back out, and we're going to take another look at this track here as we're under a tornado warning until 7 o'clock. This is going to be pushing into Gasconade County and portions of eastern Osage as well. So if you're anywhere there along Highway 50 as this pushes east, still going to be arriving in Lynn within the next 4 minutes and likely just off to the south of Herman. I don't think the rotation is going to impact Herman at all, but you're still going to get some heavy rain at least, or maybe even some small hail as this pushes in. Let's take a closer look and see if there are any communities that are going to be affected. Mount Sterling, you're not in the tornado warning, but I would get close to your safe place if possible because this will continue pressing in your direction. Along Highway 50 there, Freedom, you are in the path of this tornado warned storm. Potts likely as well, just north of Judge, and all of these smaller communities there right along Highway 50. And this is likely going to be tracking in your direction here within the next 10 minutes or so. So right now the rotation right over County Road, let's see here, County Road 604. They are moving through central Osage County, really approaching Lynn right now. Concerned about Lynn as you'll see the update there with the rotation getting a little closer to the center of town. It's not as tight as it was just a little bit ago, but still something we're keeping an eye on. And of course, the threat for some hail too. We'll go back out to our severe threats tracker. Likely getting at least pea to quarter size hail coming down possibly at a pretty good clip. We got a picture of that coming down very hard, and the density of the hail was pretty significant as this is coming through portions of Cole County. So the rotation, not quite as impressive. We still have quite a bit of hail, and of course that threat for a tornado until 7 o'clock. Chance, are we getting any more information from the Weather Service in St. Louis?
Yeah, so currently not seeing any confirmed reports. Now, I do want to kind of highlight Miller County. 911 got a call saying that a separate county for Westphalia there had received a call saying that trees were down and a tornado, but that, like I said, is an unconfirmed call on this system.
Where was that?
That's going to be just west of Westphalia.
Okay,
yeah.
So we have a report of at least some trees down with this cell. We did have the possibility of seeing up to 70-mile-per-hour winds outside of the tornado threat, too. So in either case, we're going to be tracking the possibility of severe winds as this pulls through. So the threat of a tornado and the threat for some strong winds. This has had a report of producing damage near Westphalia. So if you're anywhere in this tornado warned zone, you need to be in your safe place. And again, that's in the first level of your home or business, apartment building, and away from windows. Right now, it still looks like the area of rotation is right on top of or just approaching Lynn. Still tracking off to the east, some very heavy rainfall that's occurring right now just south of the Missouri River in Osage County from Chamois all the way back down to Lynn. And if we get a little closer there to Highway 50, this is going to be tracking right along that corridor. So if you're seeing this and you're in Potts anywhere along Highway 50 in eastern Osage County, you are under the tornado warning and need to be in your safe place. Now, some other locations that are going to be in line eventually after about 6:45 would be Freedom and areas there towards Mount Sterling, possibly back up towards Cave Hill if this continues to hold together through most of Gasconade, central Gasconade County. You're next in line for this cell, and also going to be tracking, that will likely be tracking out of mid-Missouri, probably within the hour because these have been moving fairly quickly at around 40 miles per hour. Now back up to the north, we have another cell that's approaching Fulton. That is not severe at this point, but has kind of grown up scale. We'll be watching that one for some heavy rain. And if we back out a little bit more to show you the bigger picture, we have a strong thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm that's moving through St. Louis, and also a little bit more development here. We'll go back out to the Springfield radar and take a look at these storms. These will likely be impacting the Lake of the Ozarks next. So I'm expecting the threat for some damaging winds, as these are a little bit more linear, meaning the threat for winds will be right along the leading edge of this as it gets closer to Warsaw and the Lake of the Ozarks. So our threat will be coming from the southwest next. Just about all of mid-Missouri and much of the state under a tornado watch. That goes until 11 o'clock for areas off to the west of Highway 63, and then for points off to the east of Highway 63 under that tornado watch until midnight tonight. So it's going to be a while that we'll be tracking that possibility for severe weather, but we're continuing our coverage here on ABC 17 News because we have a tornado warning that's in effect until 7 o'clock for Osage County. It's not been extended at this time, but if that rotation continues to hold on, if you're in at least the northern half of Gasconade County, I would say anywhere from Owensville north, you need to be on alert because this storm could be moving in and bringing some impacts, as it has had the possibility, or at least the potential and some reports of some large hail. So I want to show you some of those reports now. In fact, Chance, do you have anything coming in for us?
Currently not seeing any reports on this storm, but they actually just issued a tornado warning actually for the St. Louis metro, so that's also a dangerous situation, just showing how much strength there is in the environment we're in for these storms.
Yeah, it's something we were kind of talking about earlier. We were wondering if the rain that we had this afternoon was going to kind of inhibit our storm environment. Definitely not. If any of you were outside at any point today, you probably felt just how muggy it was, even with the rain in the area. So we have a lot of that instability to work with today, and something that's called wind shear. It's the turning of the winds with height in the atmosphere. That helps give the atmosphere that rotation that we need to grow storms and grow severe storm updrafts. So we've had all the ingredients and we've overcome some of that rain that we've had today, even though temperatures only made it up into the 70s across mid-Missouri today. So we'll go ahead and take a look here at our tornado warning. Again, this goes until 7 o'clock. It's for central Osage County, and we'll continue pressing into Gasconade. We have not seen too many reports, but I do want to point out something that Chance mentioned earlier, that we had a report of trees down near the Westphalia area. We can take a look at some of those. It does not look like that one's popping up in our maps here yet, but we've had some reports of large hail up to an inch there. And Wardsville also saw a few that were coming in with pictures of up to golf ball size hail as this same storm moved through Wardsville. Here's another one on the northern side of our storm that we're tracking now. This one actually came in just northwest of Lynn. That came in at 6:25, so 10 minutes ago. At least quarter size hail as this cell continues to work its way through. I'm on the Springfield radar, so I need to go back over to St. Louis to get a better picture of that. See, we can still see that inflow there coming into the storm, so that's still somewhat concerning. We'll go back over to the velocity and take a look at that. It looks a little bit more broken up. What do you think, Chance?
Yeah, definitely the last few scans, the last 20 minutes or so, we've seen definitely a weakening trend with this. The National Weather Service has not mentioned anything about canceling this, and they still think that they're seeing a decent amount of rotation, but the last several scans definitely showing a little bit of weakening, but don't let that kind of throw you off. Yeah,
the good news is we have not seen much strengthening, so that is good news, but we have, of course, had those reports of strong winds just to the west of Westphalia, and definitely some hail, too. These storms that continue to push through. This particular storm produced quite a bit of large hail. I'll show you some of those over in Miller County. We saw up to egg-size hail in Olean as this moved through, and it still poses that potential of rotation as that continues to move through central Osage County. So let's get a little closer. The rotation a little bit more broken up. We can try to highlight that. It doesn't look quite as strong as when we came on the air, so that's great news. But anywhere you're seeing the green here popping up on the map, that's where we at least have a little bit of low-level rotation triggering the potential for a tornado. So we have not had any spotter reports, but in this area, it's kind of wooded. We do have a lot of winding hills there to where it would be a little bit more tough to see anything on the ground. And, of course, with all the rain in the area, it can make it tough to spot these. So do not try to pick out the tornado yourself. Try to get to shelter as soon as these warnings are issued. We'll take a look at that velocity again. This is just showing the radar indicated rotation. it is starting to weaken just a little bit broken up there over Lynn, but just enough to trigger that tornado warning that continues for the next 23 minutes. So a tornado warning is in effect till 7 o'clock for central Osage County. We'll take a look a little closer here. I want to look at some of the roads that are closest to this area of rotation. We'll go back out to our wind shear product that will kind of pick out the best area of rotation just along Highway 50. So we've been telling you since we've been on the air, this is likely going to ride right along the Highway 50 corridor. Some other areas likely going to see that rotation, County Road 303 and some of our central portions of Osage County. Potts, Freedom, Judge, just north of you. Not expecting this to impact you, but likely if you are in Freedom or in Mount Sterling, you are not in a tornado warning at this time, but please keep an eye out for that warning if this continues to hold its intensity and press on to the east. These storms have been moving at around 40 miles per hour this evening, so they've really ramped up here in the last hour or so. This area on the northern side, that is producing a ton of heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning too. I'll show you that. We'll turn it back on. Tons of lightning. I've had this turned off the whole time just because it clutters up the map and you can't really see the features of the storm, but it is electrical out there. These are some very intense thunderstorms as they push into mid-Missouri. Looks like that cell up in Callaway County. I've been watching that one. It's not quite as organized yet, but starting to get more of that turning feature to where we would get concerned about some wind and hail. So we'll watch that one. Some more rain that's pushing in from the west, and of course, I've been mentioning that threat for more severe weather pushing in from the south. So we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that are just outside of our viewing area, but possibly could see Benton County up next for any severe thunderstorm warnings as we're looking at the possibility of up to 70-mile-per-hour winds with those storms. So the main concern now is still the threat for a tornado in this cell that is pushing across eastern and central Osage counties. We have seen a report of some trees down there in the Westphalia area, and that's where we are seeing that possibility of some strong winds. We're going to go out now to ABC 17 News anchor Lucas Geisler. He's been monitoring some of the information coming in from this particular storm. What do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, Jessica, this comes from Osage County Sheriff Mike Bonham. I just spoke to him on the phone. He says he has personally not received any reports from first responders of storm damage yet. So obviously, as you are showing right now on radar, storm is now going through Osage County. So again, as of right now, he says he hasn't heard anything from first responders yet. Did get some reports of golf ball sized hail west of Lynn along Highway 50 in particular. So that's the report that he's gotten right now. He says he was coming up from Freeburg and saying that Freeburg pretty clear right
totally
now
fine.
as far as he sees, but he does see those dark skies out into the north there in Osage County. So again, as of right now, Sheriff Bonham saying hasn't gotten any reports yet from his first responders there. Of course, storm is moving through right now that you're tracking here, Jessica.
Yes, we have not seen too many updates here, but want to show you where we're seeing that rotation now is moving out of Lynn. So hopefully we can get some information as that continues to move out of Lynn. The threat is diminishing, but we still have some rotation that is onto the east of Lynn. We've been tracking that hail potential with this cell just about all afternoon. Lots of reports of either golf ball up to egg size hail as this moves through Miller and Cole counties. It continues to track along Highway 50. As I mentioned earlier, if you are in Freedom, Ryers Hope, or Mount Sterling, you're going to be in the path of this storm. I want to go back out to the velocity and just show you where we still have that rotation. It looks like we at least still have some organization there where we're seeing that turning on the reflectivity, just showing you how strong the storm is. If we go back out to the velocity, still have a little bit of that. It looks a little bit more broad, which is great news. Not seeing as a bright of green color here, indicating the strong winds pulling towards the radar, but we still have some of that rotation that would still warrant the tornado warning here in green, especially there highlighted. Want to show you that. I'll circle it there for you, and we'll zoom into that area, get a little closer, and just show you some of the areas there. Oh, let me clear that off for you. That would be County Road 306 to about County Road 202 and right along Highway 89 spur there. So that's where the best rotation would be in the storm. It looks like Chance has some more information for us.
Yeah, Jessica, right now looking in the National Weather Service chat, so that current tornado warning, they are currently making a downstream severe thunderstorm warning, so could expect that to possibly be dropped if it continues the current track it's on with the rotation. So a little bit of good news out ahead of the system as it continues to move back off to the east towards Highway 50.
Okay, so that's good news. So we've been talking about the de-intensifying of this storm as it's starting to at least bring the rotation down a little bit. So they're seeing what we're seeing. We're seeing that rotation become a little bit more broad, which is great news. Still not out of the woods quite yet because you're seeing that right there. But we are still going to be looking at the possibility of that this could intensify again as it moves into Gasconade County. At this point, we'll probably have a severe thunderstorm warning anytime now for Gasconade County, at least in the northern half, and that would be for large hail and the possibility of some rotation, but that would be a severe thunderstorm warning and not a tornado warning. So go back out to the wider view just to show you we still have that little bit of rotation that's now moving into eastern Osage County. I want to put a track on this. We'll go back out to the radar view just to give a bigger picture of the entire storm. This is bringing down a ton of rain. So with the severe threats, it is going to be tough to even see as this storm continues to track onto the east. So we'll put a new track on this. Chance, are these still moving at around 40 miles per hour?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
they're currently moving about 40 miles per hour off to the east.
Okay. So we'll get the area of rotation for that as it moves across northern Gasconade County. Likely going to, at least the rotation, probably stay just off to the south of Herman. I'll try to get a better view of this as we're not pulling in too many towns with that tracker, but I'll try another one here. If we clear this off and kind of get rid of some of the clutter on the map here just to make it a little more clear for you. We'll take the center of rotation there and then pull that out to the east up to around 40 miles per hour. So still not capturing a ton of communities here, likely going to stay just off to the south of Herman, but we are still going to get some heavy rain in Herman. It looks like we're going to see some heavy, at least some dense hail there, at least the coverage-wise, south of Chamois. So clear this track off. And I want to show you where we're seeing the largest hail. So anywhere you're seeing that area black, that is the hail core of the storm. That's where we're going to see the best potential for at least up to quarter to golf ball size hail. We'll go back out to our severe threats, and that should give us a little better idea. This will pinpoint the threats that we are expecting. Let me clear that telestrate off so we can get that a little bit better. But it does look like here in pink, at least we have the threat for some large hail. We'll get right in the center where I just circled. Up to golf ball size hail is what our radar is indicating. So maybe some escalation there in the hail threat, tornado threat starting to come down a little bit. So that is good news there from the St. Louis National Weather Service. So again, this is a tornado warning. It's actually moving out of the tornado warned area. There is that new severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 7:45. What are they calling the threats on that one, Chance?
Yeah, so currently for that new severe thunderstorm warning that's moving just off to the east in front of that system, seeing hail up to about 1 inch in diameter, and they're also still seeing those winds up to 60 miles per hour. So at least we're starting to see some of the kind of threats with that kind of come back down, showing that maybe it's losing a little bit of that energy and not intensifying as much as we saw earlier today.
Yeah, that's great news. We love to see that. And again, we've been reporting the possibility of hail with this. That's really been our storm report. We have not seen too many wind reports outside of that one that we got some trees outside of Westphalia. So right now the concern would be for some large hail and up to 60 mile per hour winds in that storm. But I'm still tracking that possibility of some more severe weather that's moving in from the southwest. This is something we'll be watching escalate tonight. And you'll notice the differences in the structure of these two storms, at least storm areas. This one is becoming more linear, meaning it's starting to stretch a little bit more, meaning that threat for strong winds would be increasing. This one still has that area of rotation and, of course, the hail core. So this one would probably pose more of a hail threat versus that line that's out to the west. So a lot your weather threat to last at least until about midnight. Right now, while we're keeping an eye on that tornado warning, I want to show you the latest ABC 17 storm track feature track here at 8 o'clock. That cluster of storms out to our southwest has the potential to grow upscale, and we would be concerned about strong winds up to 70 to 75 miles per hour for the Lake of the Ozarks by around 8 to 8:30 tonight. Still have that threat for severe for much of mid-Missouri, at least until midnight. Look how that really becomes more widespread, and we're looking at some heavy rain and some strong winds up until midnight or so. From there, it'll be cooler and the rain will continue overnight, but our severe weather threat would drop. So let's go back out to our radar. We still have about, looks like, what time is it now? 6:46. So we have about 14 minutes left on this tornado warning. My gut tells me once this rotation moves out, there we go. It's dropped now. So our threat is going to be shifting from a tornado threat to still some very large hail in that core area. I want to shift back over quickly to our St. Louis radar. Just to give you an update on this new warned area, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Gasconade County. That does include Herman, although I do think the best area to see the largest hail will probably track just to the south of Herman, but we'll likely see some very heavy rain. So again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45 tonight. This is tracking off to the east at around 40 miles per hour. We'll continue tracking that east. I'll put a quick track on that. If you are in Gasconade County, you're going to be seeing that threat diminish if you're in Osage for the time being. So as this moves on to the east around 40 miles per hour, if you're in Herman, it will be approaching you by around 7:06. So you've got a good 20 minutes before the heaviest rain and hail and lightning approaches you. So with that, for now, we are going to go back out to a break, and when we come back, we will have more news and weather and keep you updated on the timeline for the rest of this evening.